Hey guys, it's Mace in case you didn't know. Welcome back to our channel. Now I know if you're new here, you're probably thinking like, who is our? Well, this is normally Mace and Mike, but we're going on vacation in 2 days and Mike has a lot of stuff to do. So he's gonna do that while I do that. So this video has been highly requested. Guys, I'm not gonna hold you guys up. These are my top 20 travel hacks when it comes to booking, planning, preparing for your flights.
You can touch me. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Now, first things first, when it comes to researching your flight, you need to do it on incognito mode in your browser and clear your cookies. So websites, they use your browsing history and cookies just to track you and track what you're interested in. So if they see that you're looking up a flight to Korea repeatedly, they're gonna keep raising the price for that flight. Because obviously if you're researching it enough, you probably want to buy it eventually. I've heard that 6 weeks before, that's like the standard number that people, YouTubers, advice people will just say when it comes to when you should, when's the most affordable time to book your flight. I wouldn't necessarily say 6 weeks before. I would say anywhere within that 2-month period before. Usually if you look months and months and months in advance, it's gonna show you the same price for like every day. That's how you know that that's probably not going to be the best price ever, because every day is never going to be the same price. Next up, you want to sign up for promotional emails with your favorite airline. I receive these emails all the time, typically from Spirit and Frontier. I don't want to hear it about Spirit. We'll get into that in a second, okay? But basically this way you'll be alerted. A lot of those times it's like a today only, flights are $20, flights are $25, get it today type of thing. So when you have those promo emails, you're like, you can be on it and not miss that deal. When it comes to research, a lot of people will recommend Expedia, Priceline, and those work just as well, but I found the website that has kept me the most up to date, kept me the most informed about my best options is Google Flights by a long shot. Like, I don't even check Priceline, Expedia, Kayak, all those stuff. I just use Google Flights. However, it has a lot of cool features on it that I feel like you have to be informed and know how to use in order to work it properly. So let's get into that. One cool thing that Google Flights does is that it shows you the most affordable dates for the flight that you're planning. So you just want to be open-minded when it comes to the exact date that you're leaving. And this is one way. We're just going to talk one-way flights at this exact moment. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to use the example of the flight that I just booked last week. Long story short, we're going on a cruise. The cruise leaves on Thursday. However, if we were going to be a stickler about it and try to leave Thursday morning, flight prices were like $300. If we were going to try to leave Wednesday, which is the day before, it's still safe, but flights were still $200 per person. And obviously I did not want to spend $200 per person on a one-way flight. That's totally against everything that I believe in. So Tuesday's flight, there was one flight in particular that was $50 per person. On Google Flights, that's what it showed, $50 per person. Obviously that's going to be the one I'm going for. Yes, we're going 2 days earlier. So our cruise leaves on Thursday, but we're not leaving Wednesday the day before, we're leaving Tuesday. By us being open-minded with which dates we're leaving, therefore we saved, like I said, originally it was $300. Let's just say to be safe, we'll go with the $200 one on Wednesday. Instead of paying $200 for that Wednesday flight, that would have been a little bit more convenient. Instead, we paid $50 and we're getting there a day early. Now, thing two, right now we're in the Detroit area and our cruise leaves out of the Orlando area. That being said, if we were to be sticklers about exactly which airport we were leaving out of, we would have paid a ton more money. So another hack is to be open-minded when it comes to exactly what airport you're flying out of and what airport you're arriving at. Let me give an example. So with this flight in particular, the $50 one that I was talking about, obviously we want to fly from Detroit to Orlando because that's where our cruise is leaving out of. Well, the Orlando flight was $150, I'm pretty sure. So didn't really want to pay $150 either. The one to Jacksonville is the one that ended up being the one that was $50. Jacksonville is 2 hours away from Orlando. So let's do the math. Just this way you guys can actually physically see the savings, okay? Could have paid $150 per person. That would have been $300 total that I would have paid just to go from Detroit to Orlando on Tuesday. Instead, I paid $50 per person, which equals into a total of $100. Our rental car is $100 for the day. That equals $200 in total just to get to that same destination on the same day. And if you guys don't want to get a rental car or are too young to get a rental car, you can always like get a family member to pick you up, assuming that that's who you're going to visit. You know, reimburse them for gas, 20 or 40 bucks at the most. I mean, it's only 2 hours on the highway. It's not that far, but you can always reimburse them, explain the situation that it was just a way cheaper flight. By you doing that, you're saving yourself so much money. And like I said, at the end of the day, you can always just pick up a rental car real quick. It's not that hard nowadays. Typically, bigger airports are more inexpensive. For instance, I used to live in the Tampa Bay area. However, the Tampa airport is not nearly as big as the Orlando airport. So when I used to go up here to visit Michael all the time, I would typically leave out of the Orlando airport if I wanted the cheaper air. However, it would be an hour and a half ride to get to the Orlando airport versus the 30-minute ride to get to Tampa. So like I said, by being flexible with it, that might be a huge difference in what saves you a ton of money. Another cool feature that Google Flights has is it allows you to track your flight. Now, I get these emails all the time. Basically, they alert you to when the flight prices are about to go up. It'll say within the next 24 hours, this flight is probably going to be this price here, so you might want to get it now. When it comes to flights, Inconvenience saves so much money. For that reason, early morning flights are typically way cheaper. Those are like typically the cheapest flights. So when I do fly at either 5, 6, or 7 in the morning. I think it's convenient for me. That way I can have a whole day at my destination instead of arriving late. But a lot of people don't like to get up that early. So usually those red-eye flights, I guess that's what they call them, they are the cheapest. Now, another inconvenience when it comes to flights is the days. Most people like to travel on weekends. Typically, you guys will see that weekend flights are extremely expensive. Even some people, what they'll do is to leave the day before Friday, Thursday, or the day after their weekend is over, Monday. So Thursdays and Mondays can be pretty expensive too sometimes. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are found to be the cheapest days typically to buy these flights. Now, like I said, our flight was on Thursday. Thursday was way out of the question. Wednesday was better, but that Tuesday flight is what got us that $50 price. When you get those promo emails from Spirit and Frontier, then most of the time it's going to be for a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Another thing, our flight that Google Flight showed us $50, we booked with Spirit. Now, I already know. I hear it so much. Like, Spirit Airlines is trash. Like, I get that so much, and it drives me so crazy. I have flown with Spirit so many times, at least 24 times within the past 3 years. I've flown with Spirit, and I've never once had a bad experience. We're gonna address those concerns because, like I said, I already know that's the thing. Here's another hack for you though. Spirit Airlines and Frontier Airlines are literally the same thing. I don't know why Spirit, I feel like it's just a trend to hate on Spirit Airlines, but at the end of the day, it's literally the same thing as Frontier Airlines. So we booked that flight with Spirit Airlines on their website specifically because Spirit Airlines has a $9 fare club. It is amazing. Now, I'm going to have to do the math for this too because it's gonna sound weird if I just say it without you guys actually physically seeing it. When we went to go book the ticket on Spirit Airlines website specifically, the $9 fare club allowed for this flight that was once $50 to now be $20. It is one way, but still $20 per person one way. That's pretty much as good as it gets. How do you get into the $9 fare club? It's the $60 membership. So you're gonna pay $60. That doesn't sound like saving money. So was $50 per person. That's $100 in total. Now $20 per person. That's $40 plus a $60 membership, which is $100. The membership literally paid for itself just like that. A whole year that I'm covered. A whole year that I get discounted flights now. If you join the $9 fare club, not only do you save on your flights though, you also save on your bags. Instead of paying $30 for each bag, you're paying $20. Here's another complaint. Spirit makes you pay for everything. Like your bag. Look, let's do the math again. I love doing the math because this way I can actually put these people on facts with numbers, not just with emotion. I feel like y'all just emotional. Like, it might hurt you a little bit to see the price, but you just pay. Okay, anyway, let's get into the facts. My Spirit Airlines flight was $20 per person. Let's just say you're not a $9 fare club. I would have paid $50 per person. Okay, $100 total. For the same day, the next cheapest flight was $150. that would have been $300 per person. It was a Delta flight. Being that it was a Delta flight, that means that you get one free checked bag. So now I'm paying $300 for two people, and we both get a free checked bag. But with Spirit, I'm paying $100 in total, $50 per person. And I'm paying $30 per bag. So each of us get one bag, that's $60. So now I'm paying $160 for my Spirit flight, two people, two bags, when I would have been paying $300 with a free bag. Okay, so I'm saving $140. That's the base point by me doing Spirit. So get this, your bags will always be cheapest when you're first buying your ticket. Now I get it. Sometimes you don't have the money. Sometimes you just want to get the ticket while it's a good price, and that's fair. Keep in mind though, after you hit that checkout button, the price of your bags is automatically gonna go up. Not a whole bunch, $5 to $10, but it's gonna go up. On top of that, if you wait until check-in time, it's gonna go up even more, $10 to $20, maybe even $30, depending on the airline. If you wait till you're at the gate, it's gonna be ridiculous. I've seen like $100 check bag. So they make you pay everything, literally even your snacks. I heard one person say, I can't even get a bottle of water for free on Spirit. Most other airlines don't even give you a bottle for free. They might pour you a small little cup like this with water for free, but they don't give you a full bottle. People get upset about this stuff like they're actually wasting a ton of money. Spirit Airlines snacks are not that expensive. Last time I went on a Spirit Airlines, because I had the A1 seat, it was literally A1. I didn't pay a dime for it. I was feeling bougie. So yeah, I got myself a drink, like a drink. And I got, I think, 2 snacks with it. Yeah, I got 2 snacks and a drink. $12. Third complaint I hear about Spirit. The seats are so uncomfortable. Like there is no space. Like you can't even breathe. You guys don't even know. I'm so prepared to like dispute this because it aggravates my soul. All right, so let's just understand something, okay? If you're booking a flight, then obviously the saying, it's not the destination, it's the journey. Obviously that saying doesn't apply to you because you're just trying to get where you're going. Otherwise you would take a car. You just want to get there and not waste time, which makes sense to me. Okay, this is a 2-hour flight, is it? Let's just say, for instance, from here to Florida. So am I going to pay $150 more, which is the number that we did the math on earlier, right? Am I going to pay $150 more to have this much space instead of this much? Or am I just going to deal with it because it's a cheaper flight? This airline is doing you such a great service at providing you cheap flights. Like, you guys give it all the hate. Seats are typically smaller. That way they can fit more people on the plane, therefore making the plane ride more inexpensive for you. But on top of that, if you really have a problem with it, you save $200, right, on this plane ticket. So why don't you use that to buy one of the seats in the front where they are bigger? Spirit Airlines does have some big seats. They have like, I think 4 rows of big seats. So why don't you just pay $30 per person and sit up front where it is comfortable? This is a secret that you guys probably won't find anywhere else on YouTube. I figured this out all on my own because, like I said, I have rode Spirit at least 24 times, okay? So I have figured this out. How I get towards the front of the plane on every single plane ride I ride with Spirit. Now, this doesn't apply to other airlines, this is with Spirit specifically. I check in when I'm on my way to the airport. Spirit is an airline specifically that assigns the seats from back to front. If you check in right at that 24-hour mark, you're gonna be right in the back of the plane. Don't quote me on Delta, all those other flight lines, but Spirit Airlines specifically, you will always not be in the back of the plane. I'm not gonna say you're gonna be in the front. You can get a closer seat, and maybe sometimes by chance you can even get a very front seat. Just general facts that I feel like just need to be said with planes. There's no need to arrive to an airport more than 2 hours before your boarding time. A lot of people don't know this. There's a difference between your boarding time and your departure. Your plane starts boarding typically 30 minutes to an hour before your actual takeoff time, which is the time that you'll typically see when you go to book the flight. So if I'm booking a flight for 5 p.m., which is the one that I did book for Jacksonville, I know that my plane's probably gonna start boarding at 4:30 or 4. So I need to get to the airport around 2:30 or 3. Thing number 2, you get off the plane, you're going to the bag pickup area. I don't know why I can't think of what it's called right now. You're going to pick up your bag and you see this whole swarm of black bags coming around the belt and they all look the same. I've seen so many people walk off with other people's luggage, or I've actually personally mistaken other people as my luggage before because they look so much alike. Save yourself the headache. don't get a black bag. Say that you do get a black bag, if you just tie something around the handle, put some washi tape over it, you know, those like little decorative tape or stuff, do something to make your bag stand out that you can see from a distance. That way people know, yeah, that one's definitely not mine. And that way you can know, yeah, that one's definitely mine. Okay, Spirit Airlines, going back to this again. So Spirit Airlines, it doesn't give you a check bag, doesn't give you a free carry-on bag, but it does give you a free personal item, okay? Basically, that just means something small that you can carry. Typically, I have my backpack, and it's not a hiker's backpack, but you know, it's a pretty decent sized backpack. I'll fill that with stuff. I'll also have my big coat on. I'll have my blanket in one arm. I'll have my computer in the other arm. So I am taking as much as I possibly can on the airplane without having to pay for it. I just take advantage of what you can bring on the plane. That way you save space when you pack. That way you save money, because if you go over that limit, you will have to pay a pretty big fee, and that's with all. This kind of helps with the whole save money thing, but in general, this is just money related, and I feel like it needs to be said. You do need to put a travel notice on your card before you leave. Let them know what states you'll be in. Even if you have a layover, let's just say that you're going, like, you know me, I'm going to Florida. I don't have a layover in this specific instance, but say I did in Atlanta, I need to let my bank know that I'm going to stop in Atlanta, that I'm going to Florida, because otherwise they'll see like, how'd she get there? Somebody probably stole her card, and they'll cut my card off. Airfares, last minute flight deals, and any super low flight notifications. You wanna have those all in the back. Now there's a website for that specifically. I think it's called like Secret Fares or something like that, which includes Airfares, which basically is when it's like human-made mistake fare, just ridiculous fares that happen very, very rarely. Those are on there. Also the super low flight deals, like, and I'm talking not just within the US, but even outside of the US. California to China for $200. And those aren't always just last minute flight deals. They'll give you a list of dates and they'll say, hey, you can get this for round trip these dates for only $250 to China. Like, that's pretty great. There's a ton of websites that do it, but this is the one that I recommend. I'll just link it up here because I don't really know what it's called. If you're just like an on-the-go person, you're trying to make this a year of travel, I definitely will recommend it. And of course, my last and bonus tip, if I did go over 20, is to subscribe to me, because this isn't gonna be my only travel hacks video. Obviously, there's an airport hacks, there's a packing hacks, there's a cruise hacks, because you guys know that's where I'm going this week. And there is just a vacation hacks in general, like when you're out of town. I can do one on booking, hotels, rental cars, stuff like that. If you want it, make sure that you comment it below. If you have any other hacks, also make sure to comment it. I would love to see what other things you guys do to save money, because you guys know I am hashtag save that money. I'm all about it. Hopefully you guys learned something from this. I tried to keep it simple because I know it can be confusing, especially when it comes to the math and stuff. But like I said, if you guys have any questions, comments, tips, please leave those below. Anyway, see you guys next time. Peace.